Peter on the themes likely to drive markets this week. Joining us now, Peter McGuire from XM. Pete, terrific to talk to you on this Monday morning. Before we look forward, let's look back at those jobs numbers in the States. That was a huge surprise, was it not?
Absolutely. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Kara. Underwhelming, Andrew, 266,000. And if you look over the last couple of months, there were analysts saying that you'd hit, 300,000 in March and you 900,000. And this time they thought they might hit, 6, 7, 800,000, and it came in at 266. So it's hard to believe the analysts. Unemployment numbers, they're edged up at 6.1. The markets have been absolutely outstanding over the last 2 to 3 days. And I think that will remain this week. I thought April was a honeymoon month, Andrew. That was a great month, but tell you what, May could even outstrip that.
So US equities on new record highs, one-way direction higher. But what does that mean for the US dollar? We saw some weakness on Friday. The Australian dollar now above that 78.50 mark.
Yeah, exactly right, Kara. It was spanked down 90.19. We're going to see an 89 handle, I reckon, this week. So it's capitulated, absolutely spanked. So we've got, have a look what's happened with crude. Have a look what copper's done. Gold has been the star trade, 1833. It's put 60 to 70 bucks on in a matter of, day or two. You've got Aussie at 78.52. I think that there's possible, there's even a 79 handle very, very shortly, and maybe this week. Have a look at that the Euro US at 121, Kara. That's got the capacity to be a 122.50. So it's sitting at 121.64. You haven't made a dollar out of currency trading or the commodities in the last couple of days, then maybe you need a check-up from the neck up.
Hey, Pete, just as far as the Aussie's concerned, then, look, a couple of issues, obviously, that are present at the moment. You mentioned the commodity prices, obviously, gangbusters there, iron ore, copper. But the flip side, of course, we do have those issues out of China, certainly politically, as far as the further deterioration in the relationship with Australia, which is putting pressure on trade, plus perhaps signs of inflation there, just as far as those producer price index figures are concerned.
Well, absolutely, Andrew. I mean, everywhere that I shop, it seems to be, it's not up 1 or 2%, everything's up 10 or 15 or 20%. So maybe that's going to ratchet in, the third or fourth quarter of the year as far as those true inflation numbers. The second part is, the relationship that we have. I mean, you sit pretty close to the fire as far as how we sit internationally from a geopolitical stance, exports, and what our thoughts are as far as China at the moment. So it doesn't seem to be a warm relationship, and the PM obviously knows what he's doing. So we're backing him, and let's see what happens over the rest of May and June.
And Peter, how are we looking when it comes to the pound? Of course, they had elections this week, all eyes on Scotland. But of course, it was very much that US dollar weakness story, the pound pushing above 140. Where's next?
I think, it's 140.22 at the moment, 140.25. I think it's got the capacity to take a 140.50, maybe, even by sometime later today. And probably Tuesday. The US dollar, Kara, it might bounce a little bit. Remember, if it gets spanked down hard, there's every chance it could give up a little bit, and it's going to be volatile. There's no doubting that. So it's not one-way traffic. It just doesn't go bang. It goes up and down, as you know. You've spent plenty of time on watching, currency trading on desks. So that's what traders have got to be mindful of. Have a look at your short-term technical trades. You've seen the huge, vast info that came out last week that Andrew made reference to at the start. Let's look at last week. Last week was heaps of data. All those data points came out, and that was the end data point was NFP on Friday, non-farm payrolls. This week we haven't got a lot of news. I think it's just going to be a choppy week and a good week to trade.
What about those local equities then, the ASX 200, of course? We're still pushing towards those pre-pandemic highs, but we just haven't quite made it yet. What's going to take us there?
It'll happen. May's going to be not a bad month for us. It'll edge up a little bit higher than here. So, that Aussie coming up, there's every chance you'll probably put on another 1 or 1.5% for the Aussie. It's going to be choppy, but, over the next week or so, it'll go up. We're on the back of that US number. Have a look at that. NASDAQ up 0.88. S&P Kara up 0.74, Dow is up 0.66. We're going to get a little bit of that draft as well. might be a bit choppy today, but we're edging up higher.
Liking your optimism there, Pete. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Cheers, mate.
Take care, Andrew. See you, Kara.